Hey guys, as of last week, Jason David Frank has passed away. He was best known for his roles in the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger series. He played the Green Ranger and the White Ranger and several more Rangers after that. I'm a part of several Facebook groups for different action figures, including Power Rangers. And as people have been mourning his passing, they've shared a lot of different art. And one of the things that I saw that I really liked was this art of the White Ranger with wings. And I thought it would be a nice tribute to Jason David Frank to see if I could recreate that in action figure form. So what I have is the Mighty Morphin White Metallic Ranger. I'm using this one because it's still readily available. I think it would make more sense to use the Green Ranger, but that's not as easy to obtain right now. You should still be able to get this right now on Hasbro Pulse. You don't need to be a Pulse member to purchase it. I forget the exact retail. I think it's like $24.99 for this particular figure, but we're going to use this figure for the base. And for the wings, I purchased the Hawkman from the Black Adam film. And so I am choosing these two figures in particular because I want to make sure that this is as accessible to any person watching this and wanting to recreate it as possible. There are other wings that I think would be a better fit, but they're just a lot more expensive to purchase because they're from older figures now that aren't as easy to find anymore. So these two right now are still easy to get as of this recording. And that's what we're going to use. So I don't really need the rest of Hawkman, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of him now. And the thing about these two figures is that the DC Multiverse line is a larger scale than the Marvel and the Power Rangers line. And that shouldn't matter too much. I mean, you can see how much taller that he is in comparison. But as far as the wings go, it shouldn't matter too much. I think it should still line up okay. So we got our wings. Hawkman we no longer need. And let's open up our figure. Okay, so here's our metallic White Ranger. And comparing him real quick to the original release, and he's pretty much exactly the same, with the only real difference just being that the plastic is the metallic white as opposed to just being regular white. Otherwise, it's pretty much exactly the same figure. And then we have the wings, and if you look closely, you can see that the wing is actually taller than him if you have it from edge to edge. But that's not the main view that we're going to have, because my intention is to have the wings on him like this. And I don't know if that came off very well, but the best placement is going to be right here on each side, right there. And that's going to be for a couple of reasons. One is going to be because any more to the to either direction, then you're going to risk getting where the arms actually articulate. And then the other reason is because then it's just going to look better in that particular location. Because any further apart, then it's not going to look so good. And just so you can see, even on Hawkman, it was pretty much right next to each other on the original design. So as far as actually getting some holes made in this, I'm actually going to do what I've done with another figure. I did this with Thor, but with a different body part. Link and right here if you're interested in checking that out. But I'm going to use a soldering iron. So while a soldering iron is not really meant to melt plastic, you can use it to melt plastic, but obviously be very, very careful when using a soldering iron because it's very, very hot. Okay, soldering iron is hot. I'm going to just do my best to hold this still and melt a hole in the plastic. So the thing too is that the peg for the wing is pretty thick, and my soldering head is not nearly as thick as the peg is. So right at the base, it's right about as thick. So the The other thing too is I don't want to pierce the whole way through, because you can see that then I would just end up on the other side. So I'm actually going to just go in a little bit and just try to expand the hole, as opposed to just punching it the whole way through. Alright, so I'm just going to start at kind of a center. Definitely be careful when doing this. A lot of fumes, plastic, not good to breathe that in. I don't know how well that will come off, but let's see if I can show you. That's what the hole currently looks like. So that works out reasonably well so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Here's what the hole looks like. It is pretty ugly, but that is to be expected. We are literally melted a hole into the back. So I did briefly have some posability problems because I think I'd melted a little too close to where the parts are on the inside, where it allows the arm to swivel. So let's go ahead and start the other hole. Okay, here we have them with the wings attached, and if you're happy with that, you could leave it that way. Here's how the back looks. Obviously, it's not super perfect because we're mashing two figures together that weren't originally designed to be together, and depending on your plans. You might care about how that looks. I don't plan on not having the wings on. That's the whole point of why I'm doing this figure. So I am happily going to just leave these attached. Now, I wasn't super happy with the wings originally because I was wanting to have wings that could pose a little bit, but there just aren't any that are out there that are readily available. And so even though these can't pose, as in like extend, I still think that this is a great look. So I'm not quite done. I want to do a little bit more to continue the tribute to Jason David Frank. There is a way to add a little bit more representation to the figure to represent the other colors that he's been throughout the years. So I have a bunch of Gundam markers. And my plan is to paint this maroon color. I want to paint the maroon color into the other colors that he's been. So the reason why I'm using Gundam markers is because they're pretty easy to use, and they look really, really good. So there's no real reason other than that. These are just the ones that I happen to have because I like to build model kits too, and I use these for that, but it should work for this just fine. So now I just have to figure out how I want to paint it. I think I am going to use white on the back side. All right, here's how it looks so far. You can see that a lot of the old color is still showing through. That's okay. We're actually going to go back for another coat. That's why I went down the line, and that's the most wet. This should be the most dry. So I'm just going to kind of go back over it and try to finish it out. Okay, I think I've been impatient and not letting them dry long enough, so I'm gonna just switch around to the front and do the front side ones. So when they're on the figure, you're not gonna see these ones nearly as much. So I'm gonna color most of the way down with green actually, and then I'm gonna do his other colors down here. So I'll do green all the way down, and then the last three will be his other colors. So then that'll be, I'll do a red, and then a black. I've got two different reds to throw in there. Okay, so I only have metallic green. There are other green colors for Gundam markers. Actually, I like how that came out though, even though it's the only green that I had. So we have that, and then we've got 2 reds. This red is a metallic red. It matches the green, so I'll do that one first. Okay, so here's how mine looks. I think this metallic red doesn't come out as red as I'd like it to, compared to this one. This one looks awesome. It definitely is supposed to be red, but at least it actually does match that, so it is accurate in that sense. I'm gonna leave it because I actually still do like it that way. But obviously I'm going to highly encourage you to color or not. If you want to leave them as they were, then you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, paint how you ever want. This is, again, just supposed to be a tribute to Jason David Frank, and do it however you like. So let me work on the other one now. Here they are side by side. You can see I have a little leak over here. But that looks pretty cool overall. I'm not really that worried about that since it's really going to be hidden by his shoulder anyway. So I'm not going to worry about cleaning that up. And there he is. My tribute to Jason David Frank. We're using the White Ranger, and we painted the wings. I opted to paint the backside white for aesthetic reasons. I think it looks better backside if everything is white, especially since it is the White Ranger. And on the front side, we have him with representation of his green appearance, and then his Zeo, Turbo, and of course, Dino Thunder Black. So I did rush through it a little bit. I should have probably waited a little bit longer between coats of paint. I did rush through it a little bit because making a video. But I think after it dries, I may go out for another coat and try to even it out a little bit more. But I would say overall, I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I hope you liked this video. I thought this was a pretty cool project to do. And if you did like this, then you might actually also be interested in seeing how you can repair warped figures. Sometimes that happens when you have a big bin and you jam them all in there. Figures and weapons can get warped. And if you want to see how to fix that, then check out my video over here.